Welcome back to Nostalgianomics. Today we're going to take a look at the booster box and booster box case market. Talk about what the biggest screaming buys are, what you might want to just hold off on or hold on to, and what you may want to sell and take some profits and realize some gains on at the moment. And honestly, even go back and look at some Sword and Shield era stuff, and that may still be pickups, especially looking at what things like Twilight and Paldea are doing, because, sets being like 3+ years old, being worth as much or less than sets that are a few months old, it seems a little out of whack, especially when some of these sets are stronger sets. So we're going to talk about all that today, and you guys can let me know in the comment section what you think afterwards. But first, we have to shout out today's brand new video sponsor. It's Johto Collectibles. Guys, Johto Collectibles, small business started in 2021. They have direct distributor access, meaning you're getting all 100% authentic product. Not only that, which I really like, is they ship the cases double boxed. They ship the booster boxes very well protected. They understand they are selling to collectors and investors, and you want your collectibles in tip-top pristine shape, and they're not just throwing them in a box like some of these other companies do. Pokemon Center. What's cool about them too is if you live in Texas, you do still get charged sales tax because that's where they're based. Anywhere outside of Texas, no sales tax, 100% free shipping, anything over $120. And I'm going to tell you right now, very, very competitive pricing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you look at some of their booster boxes, right here, Temporal Forces, $105. Like I said, no taxes outside of Texas, free shipping over $120. Obsidian Flames booster box case, $625. That's lower than anywhere on the market right now. And you guys can shop around for yourself. I will leave the link to Johto Collectibles in the description in the comment section below. All right, first up, Scarlet Violet base set, screaming buy. I said it. It's a screaming buy, and I'll tell you why. Let me paint a scenario for you. This set is a year and a half old. This set's already had a reprint. Not just that. In 2 years, when this set's 3.5 years old, do you think it's probable that it's going to be about $135 or more a box? If you answered yes, then that means you think a box going from $90 to $135 in 2 years, a 50% gain. Was that a good investment? 25% a year? If you think that's probable, yes, it is a screaming buy right now at those prices. If you want to pick it up by the case, it's $563. If you want to pick it up on eBay, it's actually a little more. What's crazy about eBay is there's only one case left under $600. There's one at $605, and then it jumps up in the mid 600s. So cases are getting scarce on eBay. If we go look on TCG Player, it looks like there's 5 sellers before it hits around $600. And so they're getting more scarce by the day. I don't think people realize it, but I think it's a huge probability this box is going to be in the 130s, 140s easily in 2 more years. And if you're happy with 50% gains in 2 years on your investments, I think it's an easy pickup at those prices. Very low risk, especially being that old and already having a reprint. Next up, Paldea Evolved, one of my favorite sets, one of my favorite plays in the entire era. I was very bullish on this. It's time that I start taking a step back from my bullish position. $150 a box, guys, on a set that's barely over a year old, that hasn't had a reprint, that's very in danger of a reprint. It's a little scary. What I have is left, I am holding. I am not selling anymore. And because I have used some for my breaks that I do, but I'm not selling any. I'm holding it. And I will pick up more if there's a reprint. But if there's no reprint, if we just don't have a reprint for this set for some reason, I'm going to be happy that I did hold. So you make your own decision. If you do have a lot and you do want to take some profits, I don't think it's a bad time to start taking profits on this set. And you can realize some gains. You can get your dollar cost average per box down because you're taking gains on it. And you'll leave yourself in a good position to pick up more. Or if more doesn't come, well, hey, at least you still have some position. You took some profits. If you want to still pick it up, if you really think there's not going to be a reprint or you just don't have any, $150 a box. It's about the same cost by the case, $900. On eBay, it's even more scarce. I'm not going to lie to you. This set's scarce. I'm also not going to say this set can't keep rising. You could see this box go to $170, $80, $90, $200 a box, and maybe we get a reprint then. Maybe we don't see a reprint. I don't know, right? The future's a mystery, but I would start to get a little more cautious as it crosses the $150 mark this fast. Although it's a great set, I'm just going to be cautious on it. Obsidian Flames. In my opinion, it's weaker than base set. This is one of the weakest sets in the whole era, but it's got a Charizard, and that's what people go for still to this day. $113.97 on TCG Player. It's $650 a case. On eBay, it's even more per case. As I said before, Johto Collectibles still has it for $625, which is a great pickup, but Obsidian Flames, all right? I don't own a lot of it. I'm not picking up more. I don't exactly know what the future could hold. I mean, Darkness Ablaze is doing relatively okay in Sword and Shield. And it's a very weak set. I think it's trending around $150 a box right now. And so, could it do well? Sure. Could it get a reprint? Sure. So I don't think it's really a huge either way. Like, I'm not saying to run out and buy it. I'm also not telling you like not to buy it. I'm not telling you to sell it. Not telling you to hold it. Honestly, I'm indifferent on this set. I think it can do okay. If you want to pick some up, great. If not, I don't think you're going to miss out on a huge party or anything. Next up, Paradox Rift. This is my next biggest buy with Scarlet Violet base sets. Paradox Rift, one of the stronger sets in the era, in my opinion. The second most stacked set in terms of overall hits, next to Paldea Evolved. And I think it's extremely undervalued, underpriced, because there's still so much supply out there. So being under $100 a box still here on TCG Player, right at $100 a box, all right? By the case, it's a little over $100 a box at $618. And on eBay, you can actually find it a little cheaper, under $100 a box by the case. I think this is a buy. I don't see a world where Paradox Rift, even if it gets a reprint, right? Even if we get a reprint, the supply will definitely run out. And again, same time of scenario for Scarlet Violet base set. I don't think there's a world in 2 or so years where this is not a mid-hundreds box. I don't think you're going to buy $100 a box and not be at least 20-25% up per year on your money in another 2 years on this set. That's my feeling. That's why I continue to buy it, and I continue to hold Paradox Rift. Temporal Forces, same thing. It's a little more expensive, $105 a box, right? It's kind of what it's going for. $105 is starting to rise. You can still find it by the case under $650. And on eBay, it's actually a little more per case. No, never mind. On eBay, it's $650 as well. So it's about $107, $8 a box, somewhere around there. By the box, it's a little cheaper, but around the same price. So obviously, you could have got it cheaper. Obviously, you could get reprints, could go lower, all that same stuff. I still think this is one of the stronger sets in the era, right, with Paradox Rift. I think the hits are good. I think the pull rates are hard, which makes the hits even stronger. And so I would, consider picking this up still at 105, 106, 7 a box. If you're looking long term, again, 2.5 years from now, I'd be hard pressed to not see this box 150 plus be up 20% a year on my money. And so I do like Temporal Forces still. Twilight Masquerade. Here's another one I might want to pump the brakes on. Now listen, depending on if and when reprints come, may come tomorrow, it may come in a few months, may come next year. This box could easily run to $200. It could. And it could get slapped back down to $100, $110. These are very real scenarios. I don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. All I do know is a set this new already selling for $140. Cases already going for $825. On eBay, you can't even find a case outside of auctions or outside of a foreign country for less than around $900. This seems so expensive so fast. I get the Greninja. I get it's a strong set. But what am I doing? I'm holding on to what I have because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not selling into this boom, but I'm also not buying more. If you don't have a position and you're asking me about that, it's tough. $825 is still pretty expensive to move into a position in this set. And so I can't sit here and recommend buying into those sets because if a reprint does come and it gets knocked down to $600, $660, something like that a case, you might be negative on your money for a good period of time. You can dollar cost average in, but I think this is one of those scenarios where I'd probably wait on and move into something else. But, I could be wrong. This could jump up to be like $1,100, $1,200 a case before we see a reprint. Maybe we don't see a reprint these days. You never know. And so I'm mixed on this, right? You could pick it up. It's a little risky, but I definitely wouldn't be selling, I don't think. I think it's too early to be selling because it's still such a new set. If anything gets a reprint, it's going to be probably earlier sets like Paldea 151. So you could see massive gains on this in the near future, in my opinion. So just be cautious on it. That's all I'm saying. Stellar Crown. Let's talk about Stellar Crown real quick. It's already pre-releasing, I would say, stronger than the other sets have. People are seeing the strength of Twilight Masquerade, and they're jumping on board buying these sets earlier. $105.95 pre-release. The cases are sticking over $600. On eBay, they're a little under, but they're holding up better than other sets have in the past, right? They're not going into the mid-500s or anything like that. I do think this set's going to be similar to Twilight Masquerade, maybe not as strong. It's yet to be seen, but I do think I wouldn't be surprised to see these boxes $105, $110, $115 after release if they get bought out at similar rates and supply is lower. So don't be surprised to not be able to find these boxes in the 90s. Long term, I can't talk long term. It's a brand new set. But if you're wanting to pick up things long term, you can find this set in the $90, $95 range per case somewhere, or you want to pick up one of these cases on eBay. I can't tell you it's a bad idea. Will there be better prices? Possibly, but I do expect these newer sets, this Surging Spark, to be stronger. Now, let's talk about something else before we end this video, all right? Silver Tempest is still in the Pokemon Center for $143.64. Add in taxes, call it $150. You could pick up Silver Tempest, a set that is going on 2+ years old, or Paldea, a set that is still relatively new, for the same price. Now, we could argue that Paldea Evolved is stronger than Silver Tempest, right? Oh, this is Astral Radiance, my bad. Hold on. Just gave you a peek into what I'm going to talk about next. But Lugia V, right? Super strong alt art. You got the Rayquaza VMAX, you got some cool rainbow rares, you got Unknown and the Regidrago alt arts, right? You got a pretty strong trainer gallery with the Blaziken VMAX and V, you got some waifu action, you got the black and gold Rayquaza Superior. It's a pretty strong set. It's not the strongest set in Sword and Shield, but it's a pretty strong set, and the hit rates are much harder in some of these alt arts, I believe, than Paldea hit rates. And so, judging by age, and judging by reprint possibilities being very low compared to Paldea, I do think Sword and Shield is pretty good pickup, especially when you can buy it on Pokemon Center for the same price as Paldea, basically. So, Sword and Shield's another one to look at. Battle Styles. Battle Styles, guys, it's $129 a box. This is cheaper than Paldea. This is cheaper than Twilight Mastery, which is a few months old. This is 3.5 years old, guys. Here, March 19th, 2021. No reprints are coming for Battle Styles. I understand, right? It's not the strongest set out there, but it's got the Sleepy Tyranitar alt art, right? It's got the Urshifus, the Empoleon alt arts, all that good stuff, right? It's got the waifu action with the Phoebes, got some cool rainbow rares, some golds. Look, it's not the strongest set in the world, but this card is always going to be chased after. Tyranitar cards are always strong and always chased after. Alt arts are going to be a thing, waifus, but the Tyranitar alone, the fact that this box, right, the box itself is still $129, and when you look back at weak sets like Guardians Rising, like Forbidden Light, like Steam Siege, they have risen over time with scarcity, with age. Being able to buy a set this old for still $129, I'm going to say it, it's still a screaming buy. I do think Battle Styles at $129 is still a good pickup. Last but not least, I want to look at Astral Radiance, all right? Look, Astral Radiance booster boxes, they're right around $170, a little over $170, so a little more than what you can pick up a Twilight or a Paldea for, so you have to pay up a little more. But again, the set over 2 years old, so 2.5 going on 2.5 years old. Okay, so no reprints coming, old. And the set itself, right? I'd say it's probably the strongest out of the sets we just looked at, better than Battle Styles, better than Silver Tempest, in my opinion. The Machamp doesn't stack up against the Lugia, but it also has a Palkia. It also has a Dialga, has the Beedrill, right? The Sneasler alt art. And, it's got some waifu action, some more alt arts down here. And, I mean, even if it's not, maybe some people think Silver Tempest is still stronger, it's right up there with Silver Tempest. People are always going to want this Machamp, probably always going to want some of these other alt arts. And just being the age alone, I think 170 is probably getting to be a safer play than Paldea at 150. Or even, Twilight Masquerade at 140. Now, I personally think Scarlet Violet Era is going to outperform Sword and Shield Era by and large. I'm just going to throw it out there. So I actually do think Paldea and Twilight may actually trump Silver Tempest and Battle Styles and Astral Radiance in the future. But for the time being, with reprint possibilities, things like that, I think some of these Sword and Shield sets may be better pickups for the time being. So that's why I'm throwing them in there. And so you're asking me, Alex, what are you doing? What are you doing with your money? Pretty simple. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, everything I just told you. I'm holding all my Sword and Shield stuff. I did just pick up, some random collections with some Silver Tempest, with some Astral Radiance. So I did buy some more. I just bought more Scarlet Violet base set. My local card shop ran a deal. I just bought more Paradox Rift. My local card shop ran a deal. Picked them up at $80 and $85 a box. So I did pick up more of that stuff. Like I just said, I told you to do. Paldea Evolved, not buying any more of these prices, not selling at these prices. Twilight Masquerade, not buying anymore, but I'm not selling my positions. Just what I just told you to do. Obsidian Flames, don't own a lot of it, not buying anymore, kind of indifferent, right? Temporal Forces, I did just pick up more of that as well at $100 a box because I just feel confident in it. I wanted more of it. I wasn't able to get enough when I wanted it, and it's just hard to find for less. So I did actually pay up, and I bought more at $600 a case on Temporal Forces. So basically, guys, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not just like spewing random things on the internet to tell you guys what to do. I truly believe in everything I just said. I'm doing exactly everything I just said. And this is where I see the market headed going forward in the next, months to come, year, 2 years. I would be wary of reprints, obviously, in Scarlet and Violet. So be careful buying in at too expensive prices. 90, 95, 100, even 105 a box. Still very reasonable, very safe in my opinion. And then going back to the Sword and Shield sets. If you haven't picked them up and you still see some opportunity there like I do, could be good at those price points. So that's all I got today, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet, and I'll be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.